Hello, I'm here at the Distinction Hamilton Hotel the evening before the third and final test match between England and New Zealand, set to get underway tomorrow at Seddon Park. And I'm joined today by the one and only Simon Finch, aka Finchy, the Barmy Army trumpeter. Finchy, thank you so much for doing this today, and thanks for the pint.
Oh, no pleasure. Just don't spill it.
No, I've already spelled it on my laptop. So before we discuss the test, I'd like to just talk about your role in the Barmy Army. How did you get involved?
I got involved back in early 2020. I knew that Bill Cooper, who was the original Barmy Army trump, I knew he was stepping down after 15 years. I'm a massive Test cricket fan. I have been since I was a teenager, so I've always been aware of the trumpet.
Yeah.
I wasn't really a member of the Barmy Army as such, but I always thought to myself, I'd love to do that gig.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, he started to step down. So I sort of saw an opening and sent an email to Chris Millard at barmyarmy.com, and he said, "I said, oh, are you looking for a trumpet player? I'm available." He goes, "Okay." He said, "We've got some people in mind, but sort of meeting." So he was in London, where I live. He came down, and we had a meeting and got on well. And he said, "Okay, look, fantastic, yeah. Let's we'll try you out this summer."
Wow.
I was like, "Whoa!" And then COVID happened.
Ooh.
So yeah.
How did that affect?
Well, nothing. It was obviously nothing happened.
Yeah.
I was actually going to go to the Sri Lanka tour in 2020,
okay.
the one that got aborted.
Yeah.
And there's a whole story behind that as well. I mean, I just managed to get on that one as well. He was going to try me out on that tour, and then it didn't happen. And then, of course, there was no cricket live. We stayed in contact, and then he said, in 2021, do you want to do it? And let's do it. From then on, it's been what's happening.
So before that, were you playing in orchestras, or were you always like around the sports industry?
I wasn't really around sports so much. I mean, cricket's, like I say, Test cricket is my thing.
Yeah.
It's my church, really.
Yeah.
But I've been a professional trumpet player since the age of when I left college, age 22.
Wow.
So, and I've been a musician since I've been 6-7 years old, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. I couldn't really call myself a musician since I was that young, but I started playing music when I was 6 or 7, and then played a bit of guitar, a bit of recorder, drums, and then got onto euphonium, which is the little tuba, which Agus plays, as we all know.
Yeah.
And then euphonium was too big to carry over from school, so my dad said, "Oh, do you want to try trumpet instead?" I was like, "Yeah, okay."
Rest is history.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. And how does it work each tour? Are you contracted to do a certain amount of tours per year, and obviously you're paid to come out here and stay in the Barmy Army hotels? How does that work, the preparation before each tour?
So I'm aware of the schedule because it's announced in the Future Tours programme, so I can see what's going on Test cricket wise. So I can pretty much ink those in advance, because I know that we're going to offer sell tour packages to people. Essentially, that is what really pays for me.
Okay.
Plus some sponsorship as well. Like, for example, this tour we've got TNT Sports are sponsoring the Barmy Army as well, so that helps to pay for my fee. So we come to an arrangement every tour. Adam Canning asked me to tender for the tour what I want, and I want this amount. They want that amount. We meet in the middle.
How many tours are you on now?
Well, that's a question. I reckon about, including the white ball tours and the T20 World Cup this year, double figures. Maybe 13 or 14.
And you're always around for the home summer?
Yeah.
So you do all of them?
Yeah, I do all those, except obviously I don't do Lords, there's no trumpet allowed there. And also don't do Trembridge.
Is that trumpet not allowed there?
Yeah. The Barmy Army are allowed to operate as the Barmy Army in Trembridge, but no trumpet, unfortunately.
What's your favourite tour been so far?
Do you know what? They've all been great I haven't had a bad one yet. I have to say, they've all been magnificent.
Didn't go to Pakistan?
I didn't go to Pakistan this time because the schedule changed. Let's remember that Karachi got pulled out. And I think a lot of our travel clients were booked in just for the Karachi only package, and then they all cashed their ships in when that got cancelled.
Yeah.
But The first Pakistan trip was special, 22, because it was just we hadn't been there for so many years, and it was great to see England win 3-0, and it was untrodden territory,
Yeah.
untrodden path for England cricket fans, and the way we were treated was amazing. India was fantastic because it was just India, and it's just a vast country with so many different cultures. Each city and each ground has its own unique feel and set of kind of cultural norms. All been great. Every tour's been fantastic. New Zealand is just a fantastic place to tour.
Mm.
It kind of feels a lot like home in ways, but with a kind of better climate and in more interest in different kind of trees and different bird calls and stuff.
And I've been meaning to ask, because obviously the Barmy Army is probably the most well-known sort of fan base in the world of cricket. You've got the Bharat Army for India. Do you have a favourite sort of fan base to play against? And do you ever have the team that you'll give it a bit of extra oomph on the trumpet playing against someone?
Well, I mean, the Bharat Army are the closest thing to the Barmy Army. They're the ones. They're the only kind of official fan group that I can think of we played against. The Windies don't really have like a because when we're abroad, obviously we're playing the home nation, and they don't. They're just the local fans.
Yeah.
But a lot of our home summers when we have visiting teams, they tend not to bring over their own tour groups. Not much. I think partly because some of the countries that tour England are England's an expensive country to come to.
Yeah, exactly.
But even Australia don't really have many travelling fans. I had some good fun actually with the Cricket Australia's what's it called, Cato Cricket Australia touring operation. Their fans when they came over last year, that was good fun.
Isn't that led by Rod Marsh or something like that?
He's involved in it. It's Merv Hughes is their kind of their chaperone in so much as like you've got Black Opal, who are the English tour group, one of our rival tour operators. Often they have Glaston Small or Mike Gattin or David Gower or someone like that working with them as the talent, so to speak. But no, the Aussie fans, in terms of the best fans to have some banter with are the Indian fans.
Yeah,
definitely.
And in game, do you have a sort of, obviously we were meant to do one over lunch, but because England were just opening, you had to go play Jerusalem to start off.
Yeah.
Do you stick to a strong timetable, as in after the drinks break, I'll play Jerusalem? Do you have a sort of structured song sort of timetable during the day?
Sort of. It's pretty flexible, but there's an overall framework in so much as that we start every day with Jerusalem after the first ball, unless it's a wicket or something like that. Then it'll be the next ball, and we also play Jerusalem at the beginning of every innings as well. So sometimes you can play it 3 times in a day.
Yeah.
So that's the only real hard and fast rule. Usually, when a new batsman is walking to our batsman walk to the crease, play their song, Joe Root, Zach Crawley. Actually, no, because Crawley and Badaki, they're obviously openers. We play their songs for them while they're batting. But whenever they're Joe or Harry is walking to the crease or Ollie, we haven't got a song for Jacob yet, unfortunately, because he's only 2 tests in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we play their song as they're walking into bat, and then every once in a while we'll give them the pep up. If they are looking good after a couple of boundaries. There's always 4 more to the England. Every time we get a boundary, or 6 more to the England. And then when we're fielding, it's more often actually. I play more often, particularly if we're under the pressure. Sure. If we haven't taken a wicket for a while, that's when the Barmy Army really come to life. Particularly after tea. If we're in the field after tea and we haven't taken a wicket for a while, and everyone's back from their refreshment activity, should we say?
Yeah.
Then that's when the singing really starts, and we really get behind the team.
And in terms of when we're batting, obviously when a drop goes down from the opposing field, you play the sort of like circus song. Do you ever feel slightly bad because New Zealand 8 drops, Glenn Phillips? Do you ever feel a little bit like, feel bad for this guy, like Phillips dropped 3 or something on day 1?
No, I don't feel bad for him. No, I don't feel bad. But it's sometimes what I do enjoy is coming up with new ideas of how to freshen it up.
Sure.
Like for example, when the Kiwis dropped their 7th catch,
Yeah.
A couple of guys. One of the Barmy Army behind me went 7, like Lem Goodman from Strictly. So that's I went. Oh, so I started playing.
That's where it came up from. Yeah.
So things like that get everyone laughs, and then there's a bit of banter, and then it
Yeah.
kind of goes from there.
I had my mum text me going, like, "Oh, how come the Strictly theme tune's come up?" I was like, "I've got no idea."
Because it was drop number 7.
Yeah, drop number 7.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's why.
Learned
Stuff,
something
little
new.
things like that kept kind of just.
Yeah.
And that wasn't my idea. It was one of the Barmy Army sort of,
Oh, okay.
had the 7, and I thought, oh, I'll play this. Because I'm always looking around for things to kind of fire off.
Yeah.
New song ideas.
And just in terms of the cricket played on this tour, what have you made of the series so far?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, 2-0 up. I mean, I can't knock that. That's why we travel really around the world to see England win away. There's nothing like it. I think we probably the second match was a better performance generally. We rode our luck in the first one, but the opportunity arose to hammer home the advantage after drop catches, and we did bowled well. And then the second game was, I mean, the way, I think it was an almost impeccable performance, really.
Both games, England have been under the pump early on, 45 for 3 first game, then 43 for 4 in the second.
Yeah.
Harry Brook and Ollie Pope just seemed to save us in both instances. What do you make of Pope at 6, especially, and also Brook, who's now gone up to number 1? Do you reckon Brook 1, Root 2, or should it be the other way around?
Oh, what you mean in the
ICC rankings now?
Well, the rankings they're kind of not arbitrary, but they're based upon sort of points.
Yeah.
Like you get points you don't lose points for failing, do you? Like and it's kind of, there's a certain amount of recency bias, isn't there? If there's a series on at the moment, I mean, both of them are just they're both legends. I mean, the longevity of Joe's has been outstanding.
Yeah.
Harry's a generational talent. I think it's interchangeable between the two of them.
Yeah.
They're both massive. Harry's so informed though, and obviously the ICC rankings favour batsmen that have been informed.
And Ollie Pope there, he's had a couple of great knocks so far.
He has.
Can you see him sticking at 6? Obviously, Jamie Smith both come back. Seems to be a bit of a headache for Stokes and McCullum. What would you do when Smith comes back for Zimbabwe?
I don't know. I've heard a dicky bird around that he's quite enjoying the gloves. So that's interesting. That puts a complexion on it, a different complexion on it. There's all sorts of options, aren't there? One of them is the fact that you could. Jacob's obviously young and he's come straight in, and he's a talent for now and for the future. One option would be to bring Smith in at 3.
Yeah.
Because he's got 5 centuries opening for Surrey, or 4 centuries.
Yeah, 5
for Surrey.
And a double ton.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know who they're against or what kind of conditions they were and the circumstances around those. You have to look into the stats a bit more on that. But that shows there is some opening temperament there, which means obviously being a number 3, you're a surrogate.
Yeah, exactly.
Aren't you? That's one option.
So you think Pope would keep the gloves in that instance at 6, and Smith sort of just plays as a batter?
Yeah, I don't know. That could be an option. The other option would be Jamie with the gloves 6, and everyone else move up 1. Pope 5.
Okay.
Route 4, Route 3.
Route 3,
Yeah. But Root didn't like doing 3, but he was number 3 in a time when England he had a lot on his shoulders.
Captaincy.
Yeah, as well. And maybe number 3 would feel more comfortable to him now that the team's firing and he has less pressure and he can enjoy himself more.
Yeah. And for tomorrow, Maddie Potts in for Chris Wokes. Stokes was saying this morning that Wokes has proved everyone wrong this winter. Obviously, he hasn't got the best record away from home. Can you see him making it to the Ashes before this tour? It seemed like there was no chance. But
I think now that they've changed the formulation of the Kookaburra ball, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's like it's got either different lacquer or more lacquer on it.
Yeah, I think a bit
more.
The ball,
excuse me. The ball does a lot more early doors now on flatter pitches, and I think that's suited him. Because people say it's not. They say it's the fact that it's English conditions that he's bowling in here, but I think it's more about the makeup of the ball has made the difference to him. And if that's the ball they're going to use in Australia, I think that kind of bolsters his case for being a first pick in Australia. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe are they? Do you think they're trying to? They're just looking, bringing Potsy in just to kind of have a look at him, see how he goes.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
Stokes is saying. You're 2-0
Yeah.
up, so you kind of have that opportunity to
Yeah.
give other players that added experience.
Because Ollie Stone's here as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I'm unsure about Ollie Stone because he's a bit old, pretty injury prone. He seems to be a bit like Leach, just a bit of a squad player, like probably great to have around. But I'm not sure, especially if Joffa comes back this summer, if we can see him. Are you going out to Australia?
Yes, certainly am. Before before I came here, I was in Australia for 10 days.
Okay.
Between the White Ball series in the Caribbean, did that, came straight to Australia for 10 days, and did some promotional work for the Australian Tourist Board, Tourism Australia.
Oh, was that when you were on top of the stadium?
Yeah, it was in conjunction with the Barmy Army. So it was Chris Millard was out there as well, CEO, and so that I was going around the test grounds and climbing up all the kind of monuments and the iconic landmarks in the great cities as a way of saying, come on Brits, come on Australia, it's bloody amazing.
Do you have a lot of that sort of promotional stuff to do around the in-game stuff?
Not, I do the odd interview like this, for example. Not one like this actually with the camera. It's very nice. It's quite a nice little touch.
And a pint.
And a pint, yeah.
Probably the best one.
Yeah. I did a radio interview this morning. Little radio spot on a local Waikato breakfast show with what was her name? Camille and what's his name? I forgot his name. He's winning Stuart. Yeah,
Stu.
It's the biggest breakfast show. Weekday breakfast show. It's a little spot from this morning.
Yeah.
And a couple of interviews with one of the Herald newspaper in Christchurch and things. But a few bits and bobs, yeah. But it's when it's Australia that's when it really ramps up. Like the last Ashes at home, I did pretty much most days I was getting phone calls from journalists
that must have heated up at the Oval, especially with the
whole
climax there. You must have been pretty busy after
well, I can't remember, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think many people can remember that day.
It was such an amazing thing. All I remember is us all Barmy Army wearing one of our guys, Steve, who he designs all the shirts for the Barmy tour shirts.
Yeah,
he's the one that turns up as Little Ern, dressed at the Ern of cricket. Steve Lovell.
Yeah.
He brought a big white bed sheet, and we were all tearing strips off so we had the white headbands on. So that was a great. I remember it being pretty nippy because I was wearing my zip up bomber jacket and stuff. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
You can't beat days like that.
No, yeah.
I was there. I wasn't in the Barmy Army, unfortunately, but
it was a great day. And what I mean, what's the cliche? I mean, who writes your scripts, Brody?
Yeah,
I mean,
you cannot beat anything like that. And then you got Jimmy the next test dropping the final wicket, which was a shame.
I know.
And just in between test matches, just to sort of finish up a little bit, how does the Barmy Army sort of travel in between? Does it differ depending on where you are in the world, or do you always sort of go on a bus, visit some sites?
We tend to travel by air.
Oh, okay.
Most times, it just for some reason we did a bus because it's not that far, is it really? Obviously, when we don't do tour packages for home tests, so everyone does their own thing, trains and books their own hotels and whatever. But yeah, so the the Barmy Army is a kind of nebulous term for the England travelling supporters. There's some people who've been hardcore tourists who've been touring with the Barmy Army as Barmy Army members for 20 odd years, supporting, dedicating a huge chunk of their finances and their life and time to their love of English cricket. And then you get some people on like this, and then our tour group this time who are paid for a tour package from the Barmy Army Travel. There's about 65 on that tour. Some we have done previous tours with Barmy Army Travel.
Yeah.
Some are newbies.
Sure.
But as in terms of our organised travel, it tends to be by plane.
And you're always sticking together. And
I travel with the Barmy Army Travel. Yeah.
Sweet. And just looking ahead to tomorrow, is there any chance of a New Zealand comeback? Will Young in for Conway is probably the best move that they could look for. Is there any way that you can see them getting a win to finish the series?
I don't really think so. I mean, there's unless Tim Southey just does something miraculous in his final test.
Yeah.
They're basically almost like a bowler down, really.
Well, he hasn't even been confirmed playing this morning.
Oh, really?
They were asking Latham. They're like, "Can you tell us about the team?" They're like, "Young's going to open for Conway. We haven't confirmed the rest." And then they're like, "What about Tim Southey? Surely he's playing." He's like, "We haven't confirmed the rest.
Wow.
I'll tell you tomorrow."
That would be so harsh because the series is gone.
Yeah.
It'd be harsh not to play him in his hometown.
And the ground is decked with "Thank you, Tim" sort of signs all the way around it. That would be a tough way to bow out.
Well, I don't think he's not the only reason that they're not really firing. There are other issues.
Top order.
Yeah,
I'd say that's pretty overlooked.
I mean, Blundell got something going. He was gritty and got himself a century, but
need a bit more of that to
yeah.
Win. Well, Finchy, thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll see you tomorrow. Looking forward to some more Strictly.
Absolutely, man. Nice one.